Okay, today starts out with camera in hand and we're going to build the other wheel pant. I've got 2 days building that one wheel pant and we're going to complete the other one for the other side. Here's all the pieces that it takes to build that wheel pant. I mean, it's no easy task. So first thing we're going to do is I'm going to cut the camera, put it back on a tripod so that I can work on it. But they're 49 grams. I'm going to see if I can lighten them up somehow, but we're going to go ahead and run with the stock wheel pants on it instead of wheel doors. I don't know. I get frustrated when things are so heavy. 49 grams, I'd rather see it down to 28 grams. But that's not going to happen. So, let me cut the camera. I'll put it back on a tripod and we'll be back in a short. Well, I had a camera malfunction. It seized up for some reason. Anyway, been tinkering with this about an hour. Getting the parts laid out to make this laminate set of wheel pants. This is absolutely the hardest set of wheel pants I've ever made. For the simple fact is we're making them take apart, meaning that they split apart and you can get inside to change the wheel. So we have the laminates. This is the inboard side. This is the center section that holds the wire. It's light ply. Then comes the wire. Then the outboard side. Then a 1/16 inch spacer. Then we have an 1/8 inch inboard, or outboard, excuse me, with a slot in it so that the wire can be recessed. And then the final outboard skin. So that's basically the setup. Then what's going to happen is I have a 64th laminate here, and it's going to go on as such. And then the outboard piece that has a 1/16 inch piece of plywood, which could have been possibly 64th, but just like this piece from the other side, I'm going to dig that out. And, in this area right here, all over, so to lighten it up. Anyway, this piece here gets drilled and screwed to this. Then it gets all sanded and shaped into that shape that I had showed you. Let me cut the camera, I'll show you the inside of that other. Part of the reason that I had stated that I was going to make a set of gear doors is the weight of these things. These things are super, to me, the 49 grams is just too much. Anyway, these are hollowed out like this, and I'll go back in after I get this other one made and hollow it all out. What holds the wheel on? The wheel just sits in there. We'll put a washer on the inside, and then a washer on this side, and then the door holds the wheel on. So there's no collar or anything. So I hope you understand how that all works. Like I say, been pretty complicated to get them made. I'd like to give a little plug to Amazon. They were talking about X-Acto blades on the forum, number 11 X-Acto blades. And somebody had posted a link on that particular thread about surgical scalpels, number 11s. Well, I bought it. This is the scalpel holder, and you get 100 blades. They're surgical steel, and you know what? They got every shape you can think of. Every shape. They even got a number 16. I might get some of those. Number 16 surgicals. Those look like the long X-Acto blades. Anyway, this particular setup was $6.95. 100 blades plus the handle, free shipping, $6.95. At the hobby shop, X-Acto blades are $20 for 100. Plus you got to buy the handle. Now, you know, you do what you want, but these were delivered to my door. Didn't even have to go anywhere for $6. Or you can buy the Hobbyco. Let me see what these run. Oh, $14.99. Standard Hobbyco number 11 blades, 100. $14.99. $6.99. Got to go to the store to get them. These are delivered. Came within 2 days on the surgical blades. So from now on, I'm going with surgical blades because they're sharper and stronger. However, the handle itself, if you got to cut anything of that's hard wood, I would suggest you take the blade out and put it into the X-Acto holder, because this little tang right here is not meant for pressing super hard on a piece of plywood or whatever. I tried it and it kind of bent it. I had to bend it back. So we won't be cutting any plywood with this handle. But it, stainless steel. Of course it's not made in the U.S. It's made in Pakistan. I don't know why we don't make anything here in the United States. It's unbelievable. We become a country of consumers. We don't make anything. Make a lot of trash. Anyway, we'll get back to the wheel pan. So the first order of business is we're going to have to lay this thing up and get it ready. Get it ready to go. So I'm going to glue the first 2 pieces together with CA. These are the outboard pieces. Get a good amount of CA on it because you want it to be held down good. Line it up. Press it down. You can't believe the amount of time I have invested in wheel pants. I'm not happy about that, but what are you going to do? This is my 3rd day on a set of wheel pants. I think part of the issue was I made the first one, and it was shaped wrong for concrete flying. And now this is kind of important too. You got to make sure that you have this notch right here. This notch is the recess for the wire. The wire fits in like that. So make sure you got that. Anyway, we're gonna do the matter of fact, let's open this up a little bit. Take the sandpaper and of course we'll go ahead and clean this up with a sanding drum once it's all together. This is these are not really off the plans. The shape is off the plans, but the patterns are different, so I had to make patterns and figure all this nonsense out. So now comes this piece. Good amount of glue on it again. I'm going to have to go to the hobby shop and get some Teflon tubes, I see. Gonna line it up real good because you only get one chance to set it down. Seems like model airplanes is one chance. That's all you get. So now I take a sanding block. I'm going to true this up. It's not necessary to true this stuff up, but it sure makes it a whole lot easier to keep it symmetrical when it starts out true. And before I glue epoxy the better double check. So this piece goes here. Then this piece. These wheel pants have been a pain in the rear. I'll never do another set like this. And put it on the airplane, make sure that it's in the right orientation. It is. Oh, God. Okay. So now we glue this piece on. Alright. Now the next operation has to be done on the airplane, and that's because we want to get these straight on the axle. So instead of moving the camera and showing that, I'll just do it, and then we'll be back. I have to put both wheels on both landing gears on the airplane. Make sure that the attitude is right, meaning up and down and all that, and the alignment of the wheel pant itself so that it will roll and track straight. So we'll be back in a few minutes when I get this tacked up, and then we'll glue it. So see you in a minute. Okay, I've laid it up on the wing and made sure that it was in the correct alignment. I've clamped it and I've made marks on it in several spots because now we have to glue it. I want it to end up looking like this. This is not quite the shape that Tom had, but I like this better. I didn't like that bulbous front end. So we'll keep tinkering with it. It's just so hard to do these stupid things. Like I said, I'll never do enough. I would have rather molded wheel pants, but there's just no way. Keep sanding and shaping and... Well, let's glue the other one up so we'll at least get it on its wheels and see what it's going to weigh. Because it's going to take all day to carve this into shape. That's a guaranteed, just guaranteed. I can see this coming. 15-minute epoxy. These little cups come from a restaurant supply place. You can get a case of them for I don't know, $20 or whatever. Sure come in handy for mixing epoxy. So I'm going to put it in there, clamp it all together, set it on the airplane to test and make sure that we're in the right spot, because you only get one chance on this too. But I epoxy this center section for the simple fact these landing gears, they take a lot of abuse. Get it down in the groove there. Now these, people say, well, why don't you have some way to attach it from turning? These can't turn because the outer door is capturing the end of the axle. And this is epoxied into the groove. There's no way for it to turn. Not without breaking it. Then I'll put it back together, line my marks up, clamp it, set it on the airplane. I think while this is drying up, I'm going to spend some time with the motor tool, Dremel, in that other wheel pant. See if I can't lighten it up some more. I'd sure like to get them down lighter. That's the only reason why I considered not using them, is the weight of them. Alright, now I better put some in this groove here. Line that up. Now force epoxy down into the groove. I hope you, I'm sorry that I don't have a cameraman. These are kind of like Al Rabe home videos, but nothing I can do about it. I get somebody here to help me. I'll tell you who the heck of a movie maker is. Chris Rudd. I guess that's what he does for a living. Alright, so now we got that. Make sure it gets I want a lot of epoxy in that groove there. And we put this on here. I don't care about this piece as long as it's closed. I just need to have all those other lines line up. Alright. If you see the reference lines here that I have on this, you want to make sure they line up. And then we'll put our little spring clamps on it. Making sure that the axle is at a 90 to the side of this, because I made sure that that wire was bent straight, parallel to everything. I'll use the big clamp on it. Need another big clamp. These spring clamps from Harbor Freight, about $7 for a gazillion of them is a good deal. Okay, here's what we got. The glue dried, and we have the blank. And now it's all about sanding. I'm not going to show you sanding. It's going to take all day to shape it and hollow it. But this is how it works. I'm going to solder a washer on the inside of this piece right here. But the wheel goes on, and then the door has a hole in it right there to keep the wheel from sliding off, and then the inside door bolts on like so. And that way there's no extra hardware. You don't have to have wheel collars and all that other business. Just bolt this door on. Basically it operates just like the door that holds the gear on itself. So that's where we are on that. Let's see, why is that? I'm going to have to put that on the belt sander and straighten it up. Either that or drop the hole a little bit more, or cut that off. Anyway, we'll get her to lay down perfectly. I have to put a straight edge on it or something to see what piece is warped. So I'm going to spend a few hours sanding and shaping. I'm not going to show you the sanding and shaping because it is just too boring, and it will take all day. It took 8 hours to do that other wheel pant. So now I'm on my third day of wheel pants. One mistake, and then one completed one that I still need to figure out how to get it lighter, because 49 grams to me is just too heavy. If you got any ideas, is 49 grams too heavy? Let me know. I think it is. So anyway, we'll be back after we get this one shaped. Okay, I haven't started sanding yet. I'm going to show you how I get these screw blocks to fit perfectly. First thing I do is I screwed this to the backer so it's all assembled. And next we're going to put the axle hole in there and hold it up there, lined up where it belongs, and then you just push on it. And we're going to make the indents of where those blocks go. And if you notice here, the squares are all squared out. Now we're going to take the scalpel and dig these out 1/16 of an inch, or excuse me, 1/8 of an inch, and unscrew those blocks from the backer and epoxy them in. And then when I go to put it together, they will all fit perfectly. I wish there was a way to dado this out to I'm sure there is, but I don't have a straight gouge, I don't believe. Just go around and follow the outline, digging down about 1/8 of an inch all the way around, make it clean. Hard piece of wood there. And pick it out. Now I've been doing one at a time so we can keep these oriented in the correct direction. Oh, I can see you have to pick it out a little more there anyway. Huh, I just set the knife down. It disappeared. There it is. Now, because we're not really holding a lot of pressure, I just CA them in there. Unscrew it from the door. Put it in there flush. Flood it with CA. That's it. And next, we'll do the next one. You know. So how long did that take? You know. Then after I get the outside shaped, I'll take it back apart and we'll hollow out the inside as much as possible. Trying to get the weight down. I wish these only weighed an ounce, but I think 50 grams is about, or 49 grams is about 1 3/4 ounces. And that's pretty heavy, in my opinion. But that is the wire, the wheel, and the wheel pant. I guess you just get spoiled using carbon fiber. So keeping it oriented in the right direction. It's forward there. Push it down in there till it's flush. Flood it with CA. The next piece that goes on is the skin. I suggest you put the screws in it to hold it from turning. And we're going to CA that down. And I'll cut the wheel door, the wheel well out. We'll sand it up. And that should be good. So let's see how it goes. to have that screw on there now so I can plug that real good with CA. It ain't going nowhere. Take the screws out. It only took all day to learn how to do these yesterday, so this is why this one's moving a little faster. We've only been working on this a couple hours. So we have the door cut and skinned. Take it up on the belt sander and sand off. So that was quick. Do the top of this and we're done there. Alright, if we did the job right, this door should bolt right on. Didn't take hours, didn't take weeks, just took probably 10 minutes. I thought I would show that before I went any farther. Now we can have wheel pants with changeable wheels. And we don't have any wheel collars, so that's a good thing. We'll make sure that it all is laying down good. And there you have it. Now we just have to sand it to shape. And that's the all-day project. So we'll see when I get it sanded.